Never stop reading Bible. Today, we're really getting into it, plunging into the wisdom of Ecclesiastes, specifically chapters 9 through 12. We've looked at some great insights, and our mission really is to pull out those key nuggets of knowledge for you. You know, a way to grasp the preacher's thoughts on life, its twists and turns, and maybe its ultimate point.
Yeah, Ecclesiastes is, well, it's quite a book, isn't it? It tackles the big questions about life's meaning, and it often talks about this Hebel idea, sometimes translated futility or meaninglessness, but it's maybe more like smoke, fleeting, hard to hold on to. Yet beneath that, it's always steering us towards something deeper, navigating those paradoxes.
Okay, let's unpack this then, starting with chapter 9. This chapter, it really hits you with this idea that, well, a lot of what happens is just beyond us, almost random feeling. How do we square that with, finding meaning?
It's unsettling. And what's fascinating in chapter 9 is how it challenges our sort of modern need for control. The preacher says, look, things like success, failure, even when we die, it often comes down to time and chance. Remember Ecclesiastes 9:11? The race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, but time and chance happen to them all. It's not saying give up. It's more about shifting our perspective, acknowledging God's sovereignty over it all.
Shifting perspective, right?
Yeah, and that actually leads to a kind of optimism, trusting in the bigger picture, even when things look dark. And it definitely highlights how limited our own worldly wisdom can be when faced with the unpredictable.
Optimism amidst the uncontrollable. That's something to chew on. Then we get to chapter 10, and here's where it gets really interesting for me. Because after talking about futility, the preacher suddenly focuses hard on the difference between wisdom and foolishness. How does he make that contrast so sharp?
Exactly. Despite that Hebel backdrop, chapter 10 really throws foolishness into sharp relief, often with really vivid images. Think about 10.1, dead flies make the perfumer's ointment give off a stench, so a little folly outweighs wisdom and honor.
Wow. Just a little thing can ruin it all.
Precisely. A tiny bit of foolishness spoiling something precious. And then he scales that up, showing how, foolish leaders can bring disaster to a whole nation. It's a powerful what not to do lesson, really hammering home why wisdom is so vital in this evil world.
Right. So after those maybe sobering chapters 9 and 10, chapter 11 feels like a pivot. It's not despair, it's action. He urges us to get involved despite the uncertainty. That feels like quite a shift.
It does, and it raises that important question, doesn't it? How do you live actively when you know things are Hebel, fleeting? The preacher tells us to, embrace possibilities, try new things, but also keep judgment in mind.
A paradox, then.
Very much so. We can't fully grasp or control our path, yet we're told to enjoy life, do our best. He uses these great metaphors, too, like in 11.12, cast your bread upon the waters.
The bread upon the waters, like ancient trade or farming.
Yeah, exactly. It speaks to generosity, maybe taking calculated risks, sowing seeds even if you don't know the outcome or when you'll see your return. Act diligently, live generously, especially when you're young, because you just don't know what's coming.
Which brings us neatly to the end, chapter 12. This feels like the summation, Solomon's, or the preacher's final word, tying it all together. What's the big takeaway?
Chapter 12 really is the capstone. It pulls everything back to the core message. Remember your Creator, revere Him, keep His commandments, especially in youth, before life gets harder. So despite all the talk that might sound pessimistic earlier, the ultimate point isn't despair. It's about seeing life as a gift. Fearing God and keeping His commandments, that's the whole duty of man.
This deep dive was brought to you by the Center Studio.